Finally, I have driven an electric vehicle. You don't know how much I've wanted to do this. Simply because this type of vehicle does not contribute to any carbon emissions onto the planet. It does not harm the environment. And yes, we do have them in Zambia. And what is stopping you from getting one? And so today on the show, we will be focusing on the electric vehicle movement in Zambia and especially the support infrastructure. If you were thinking twice about what you're going to do with your vehicle once you buy it, where will you charge it from? We are at the place where they charge your electric vehicle. And so we'll find out more from Greg here at Subilo Energy where we are, and we'll be talking to him very shortly. Also on the program, we will focus on critical minerals in Zambia. You know, Zambia is a mining country and we're blessed with natural resources and valuable minerals. And so we will be focusing on these minerals that go into the manufacturing of electric vehicles. And so I spoke to a representative from the mining industry. That will be coming up on the program. For now, we'll take a short break. We are seeing a few electric vehicles in the country, and we know that there's an energy transition happening globally. How did you think of getting into this space? It is not something that one would think about easily, especially that the country doesn't have many yet.
So our mission is to basically help accelerate the adoption of renewable sources of energy in Zambia, in Africa at large, right? So when you look at what is happening, we are experiencing a lot of adverse weather patterns, okay, which are caused by global warming. And global warming currently is being driven by too much CO2, carbon dioxide emissions that we have in the environment. And one of the culprits of CO2 emissions are basically internal combustion engine vehicles, okay, the ordinary vehicles that you know, right? When you look at a single ordinary vehicle, you actually realize that it emits close to about over 100,000 tons of CO2, carbon dioxide, per year. That's a lot of CO2. Yes. When you multiply that with the number of vehicles we have on the roads, that's a lot of CO2 being emitted onto the atmosphere. So one of the obvious solutions, therefore, is to take out as many internal combustion engine vehicles on the roads and replace them with as many as electric vehicles as possible. Because as you may know, electric vehicles do not emit any carbon dioxide. They are emission-free. There's zero emission. Okay. Yeah. So with that regard, therefore, our participation as a company in that space is to supply and install electric vehicle chargers. Okay. Yeah. Because you cannot have electric vehicles on the roads without chargers. Think of chargers for electric vehicles as what we have, the fuel stations for the ordinary cars, right? So what we're trying to do is to help to basically build charge infrastructure, okay, in Zambia. And the more charge infrastructure we have, the more vehicles we also have on the road. Because now people will be encouraged to buy EVs. At least they will know that, look, if I buy an EV, there'll be a place where I can go and charge it. Or, there's a company which I can call to come and install a charger at my office, or, at my home, at my lodge, at my farm, or wherever. Because we install basically everywhere, both in private places and also in public places. So that's basically how and why we got into this space. So our job really is to contribute to the setup of charge infrastructure in Zambia, so that we can help accelerate the penetration of electric vehicles in the country. The internal combustion engine has been with us for over 100 years. So changing people's perception will not be, an overnight thing. It will have to be done over time. And what we noticed at first is that when we came in, when we started, doing this, there was a lot of ignorance. Ignorance, not because people didn't want to know about electric vehicles, but simply because they didn't know. Okay, there wasn't enough information out there. And one of the things that we also do is that we also educate and sensitize. So if you go on our social media pages, one of the things we do is to basically talk about all things EVs and all things chargers, because we want to actually educate people out there. So at first, it was, people were receiving it with mixed feelings, but now we are seeing people actually getting it, okay? And that is why we are even seeing, people actually now buying EVs, a lot more EVs now. So the good thing is that just like the ordinary vehicles, you can also buy second-hand EVs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can buy a second-hand, say for example, you can buy a second-hand Nissan Leaf from Japan, okay? And you can land it for less than 200,000 kwacha.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Then of course there are options of new cars. You can buy a new one, you can buy a used one. So there's basically everything. There's something for everyone, right? And the other good thing also is that what the government did is that they removed duties on EVs. So if you buy an electric vehicle in Zambia, whether second hand or new, you won't be able to actually pay any duties.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically duty free. The only thing you'll have to pay is VAT at 16%. Then of course, we hope the government to go a step further and also scrap off the VAT, because what that will mean is that it will make the vehicles even much cheaper and much more affordable to many people out there. How much does it cost to charge them? Charging, you see, the other good thing about EVs is that they're not only good for the environment, they're also extremely good for our pocket. They're basically maintenance free because they don't contain any engine, so you won't be able to do any servicing, changing of oils, of filters. It's basically zero, right? And then secondly, of course, you don't put fuel, you charge it. So depending on the tariff you're using, let's take for an example, you're on a tariff of 2 kwacha per kilowatt. If you own a Nissan Leaf, which is got a 24 kilowatt hour battery, charging it to full will cost you about 50 kwacha.
Okay.
And it will give you a range of about 135 kilometers. Okay? Compare that with how much you'd spend with fuel. 135 kilometers, you would spend close to about 500 kwacha to travel that distance. They are affordable in the sense that you don't get to pay duties, and then also they are maintenance free. Then also they are quite affordable in terms of the energy they use. Okay, the cost of electricity is not much, that they actually consume. So that's really been the response.
We now appreciate Zambia's contribution to the critical minerals that are essential in the manufacturing of electric vehicles. Now, Mr. Ian Mwinga is representing the Zambia Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative and shares his thoughts around this issue.
I think you are aware of what is known as the energy transition, where the world is actually increasingly gravitating towards clean and green energy. And I think for Zambia, what is critical is to identify which mineral mix actually can move us in that direction. And I'm glad to mention that Zambia is actually one of the largest producers of copper, which is actually at the core of this green transition. But beyond and above copper, we also have other minerals like manganese, which is mined in Zambia. We do also have nickel, which is also mined, and it's also part of the mix of the energy transition minerals. You are aware that the government has given itself a target of producing 3 million tons of copper by the year 2031. So that's a very hard and hard target in terms of commitments. The other way you've seen also, I think, a lot of investment pronouncements in the mining sector. We are seeing, the mining sector taking a turn in terms of bringing back to life some of the mines that were actually not active. So in my view, that's a very practical way we are actually gravitating towards that target of, having the country actually participate in this energy transition process. We ought to understand that we need a new mix of companies in this space. We cannot expect the mining companies to also manufacture batteries. I think that would be a stretch. So we need now to begin to look at what we are calling the downstream industries, the value-adding companies. We are fortunate in Zambia that we have companies, for example, like Zamefa, which is already producing electric cables. But we need more companies that actually can take advantage of the huge endowment that we have in the minerals and begin to talk about batteries and other mineral products that can be, manufactured from the copper and other minerals. Mining is expensive, that's for sure. It is also very technically challenging. But I think Zambians can participate in various elements of the value chain. Oftentimes we've heard the government encouraging Zambians to partner with foreign investments. But I think also Zambians have for a long time, I think over 100 years, been providing skills to the mining sector. So I think in my view that is also another participation. But again, I think there's quite a huge opportunity downstream to begin to look at what other value chains can be developed out of the copper, for example, that we have. Critical minerals have no boundaries. And so therefore, if we are to leverage on these minerals, we have to look at the comparative advantage that each of the countries have in the region. And so I think for Zambia, we have an opportunity to actually benefit in a probably different way from the mining sector. And I think the opportunities in the downstream are actually quite abound. And a lot of efforts has already been committed, and it remains to be seen what exactly the next steps will be in that space.
After the break, we focus on the commemoration of the 2025 Earth Hour.
A global unity for the planet. Millions of people around the world came together for Earth Hour, an inspiring show of unity and commitment to the planet. Nearly 3 million hours was given for Earth, with Earth Hour in over 31 countries, reaffirming Earth Hour as a powerful global movement for environmental action. The Worldwide Fund for Nature, WWF Zambia, joined over 190 countries in observation of the largest global environmental initiative, which dedicates 1 hour to the Earth by switching off for electric gadgets and unnecessary lights. This is in a quest to raise awareness about climate change and the need to protect the environment.
This year marks the 18th anniversary since the launch of the Great Eco-Friendly Movement, founded to raise awareness about climate crisis, focusing on the role that people have to play in creating a more resilient and sustainable planet. 18 years later, as WWF, we are thrilled to set the global environment movement being celebrated in over 190 countries and territories worldwide. A confirmation that the message has received a stamp of approval, and as WWF, we hope to see a shift in mindset change as we call for collective action to end climate change. As per our tradition, this year's event is set once again to unite millions of people around the world to show their commitment to the planet as we aim to inspire people to give an hour to the planet Earth, doing the things that they love the most.
And speaking during the same event, Minister of Energy, Acting Director for Energy, Mafayo Ziba, was represented by Assistant Director Technical Services, Ministry of Energy, Mwiikisa.
Human activities such as industrialization, reduction of forest cover, and fuel combustion contribute to our carbon footprint. We need to change our way of life and adopt more sustainable lifestyles as well as forms of livelihood. As the Minister of Energy, we understand that the production and use of energy can have an impact on climate, and the opposite is also true.
The commemoration was attended by key partners United Nations Development Programme UNDP used the event to fundraise for the Antomo initiative, focused on ending human-wildlife conflict in the Kasoka and Livingstone districts.
The first thing I would like to ask you is if you can pull out your phone, just scan the QR code on the screen. You will get a page that will give you all the further information about the campaign and steps on how you can donate. Again, it can be $1, it can be $10, $100, anything you can give towards helping us be able to achieve that $100,000 target will go a long way in making a difference for these communities.
Meanwhile, NG Energy Access Zambia Country Director Helen Zulu added a voice on the need to transition to clean energy.
Our commitment to sustainable energy goes beyond electrification. In as much as we are an energy company, we are also working to unlock and transform lives. We are establishing, and we are already in progress, having started last year, we're establishing 71 mini-grids across Zambia, which are going to contribute to the electrification through the 1,000 mini-grids launched by the President last year.
Prioritizing the preservation and protection of nature is essential for the peaceful coexistence of man and nature. Dominic Davis Chifumbe, reporting for Climate Check in Lusaka.
Lastly on the show, Syngenta Zambia recently opened the first ever Crop Protection Development Knowledge Center in Zambia, which is dedicated to advancing research, training and technology transfer in crop protection innovation and sustainable farming practices. Here's a report.
Farmers in Zambia are set to benefit from advanced research and training in crop protection following the launch of Syngenta Zambia's first ever Crop Protection Development Knowledge Center. The state-of-the-art facility aims to enhance sustainable farming practices through research, training, and technology transfer.
This knowledge center is more than just a facility for us. It is a commitment to equipping the farmers with the right information to make the informed decisions. With that in mind, our focus today is on 3 key areas that we want to drive meaningful impact. Number 1, we want to empower farmers through knowledge. This knowledge center is designed to provide hands-on training, real-time field trials, and expertise insights that will keep farmers with practical knowledge. It is not just about increasing yields, it's about farming smarter, adopting best practices, and ensuring long-term success. Number 2, we drive sustainability and innovation. The agriculture landscape is changing, and farmers need access to modern, effective solutions. By promoting safer and more efficient farming practices, this center will help the farmers to adapt to climate challenges, manage pests, pressures, and also enhance productivity in a sustainable way.
In Zambia Environmental Management Agency said the initiative will promote environmentally friendly agriculture practices in Zambia.
We recognize the knowledge and innovation that it plays a critical role in driving effective environmental management and sustainable practices. The CPD Knowledge Center embodies this spirit by providing a platform for continuous learning, capacity building, and knowledge exchange. It is not just a physical space, but a vital tool in fostering collaboration, sharing expertise, and equipping professionals, policymakers, and stakeholders with the skills and insights needed to address the complex environmental challenges of our time.
Better solution to farmers means more sustainable solutions also. So the mission of Syngenta is to help bring plant potential to life. In that case, it means bringing more solutions and better solutions, more modern solutions, well used and well understood, to produce more with less. right? How is that beneficial and core to Syngenta sustainability vision? It's sustainable first because the right product in the right quantity at the right time and the right spot means less quantity, better used, and with a better outcome, right? For the farm management and for the production. So that's sustainable. It's also safer when modern technologies are better used by farmers with the right production when needed and as needed. It's safer for the farmer and the environment.
With strong support from industry leaders and regulatory bodies, the center is expected to drive agriculture, innovation, and improve food security in Zambia. Reporting for Climate Check, I'm Zakaria Nyimbili.
After the break, we showcase to you how the electric vehicles are charged before they can go on the road, as I join Mr. Greg Chama at Subilo Energy to just demonstrate to us. Take a look.
So this is a 7 kilowatt, 32 amps AC charger.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's automatically on here with the green light.
It's automatically on, yes.
Okay.
It's automatically on, and of course, it has a screen here, a display screen, which basically, is for the purpose of showing you the state of charge. As the charger is charging the car.
Okay.
Okay. So what you just do, of course, this is a Nissan Leaf. You just remove the charge gun. We call this a charge gun. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then this is an adapter.
Okay.
So it basically goes in here. Okay. And then that is the charge port on the car. And then you just plug it in there. Okay. Plug it in there, and then you come here. The screen has even, become a bit brighter. So as you can see here, to show you the charge current, okay, which is 6.1 amps, and then it basically varies as time goes on.
Okay.
And then you have the charge voltage here, which is about 240 volts AC, and then the charging power. And then you've got the consumption and also the charging time. So the charging time will actually show you how much time is passing as the vehicle is charging.
Yeah. So for a car like this one, for how long does it need to charge to be at full capacity?
So on an empty, from empty, this one will take about 2.5 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. To charge
and once it's charged, it can go for how many hours on the road?
We measure that in terms of kilometers.
Kilometers, yes.
Yeah, so to give you about 135.
Okay, when it's fully charged.
When it's fully charged.
Yes, so I've learned all I needed to know about charging an electric vehicle. Greg has explained to me. It sounded like, it was easy for him to explain. But then before I came here, I didn't know anything about electric vehicles charging especially. It sounded like it's very complicated. You need to be a scientist to do it. But it's as easy as plugging your phone to the charger. And of course, having heard most importantly that the electric vehicles emit zero carbon dioxide. This is the future as we focus on the just energy transition globally and, of course, as a country, Zambia. This has been Climate Check. I hope you picked a thing or two. Thank you for watching.